Thank you, Foster. Thank you. I know my first guest tonight is going to please everybody, especially the boys, because I don't know anything the average boy would rather play next to hooky than a harmonica. I remember when I was a kid, I always looked forward to the day when my mother would save enough coupons from the boxes of Mother Nature's health salve for the relief of falling hair and spreading toes to get me a harmonica free. And I used to go out in the cornfield and practice with an ear of corn, sliding it up and back across my mouth. And do you know that by the time I got the technique down pat, there wasn't an ear of corn within 12 miles. And the government had to put all the crows on home release. But tonight we have with us a young man from Baltimore, internationally regarded as the finest harmonica player in the world. Right now, he's on his way to Hollywood to make Broadway Melody of 1937. Recently, he played before the Duke and Duchess of York, and the boy was so good that 2 weeks later, they became King and Queen of England. Tonight he plays for us, and 2 weeks from now, there's no telling where we'll be. Mr. Larry Adler. Larry, before you start playing, do you mind if I ask you a question that seems silly but has been bothering me for quite a while?
Well, you go right ahead, Joe.
What I want to know is whether any harmonica player you ever knew got excited in the middle of a number and instead of exhaling, inhaled and swallowed his instrument.
I never heard of that.
Well, it's something to think about. You know, you boys have an extra risk that no other musicians have, and I think you should be paid more. Now, you take Stokowski. Now, he's got a whole orchestra. He might get excited and swallow, say, a piccolo player, but he still has 40 men left. You make one mistake and you swallow your career.
Well, Joe, that's something I'll take up with the union.
And another thing, does harmonica playing enlarge the mouth?
Oh, what makes you ask that?
Well, I've always had a feeling that in her youth, Martha Ray must have played one. Maybe she got that way kissing tuba players. Tell me, Larry, did you pick up the harmonica or did you study?
Oh, I just picked it up.
Is that so?
Mm-hmm.
You know, my uncle is a harmonica player, but he came to it by accident. When he was a baby, he had a habit of foot and putting it in his mouth. So one day they took his foot out and stuck a harmonica in, and do you know, he never knew the difference until 18 years later when they took him to the city to buy shoes.
Well, that's a marvelous way to get a musical education.
No, I heard him play the other day, and I wish he'd put his foot back. Did you use more than one harmonica, Larry?
I just used one, Joe.
Well, I once saw a harmonica player giving a concert, and every 5 notes, he'd reach into his pocket and grab a different harmonica, stick it in his mouth, and play it, and switch again. Well, it would have worked out swell if he hadn't forgotten that he had a hot dog in one pocket. For right in the middle of a cadenza, we got 6 bars of Tannhauser and 8 bars of Get Along, Little Doggy, Get Along. Now that you know you're speaking to a real music critic, Larry, play something difficult.
All right, I'll play Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue.
Well, that certainly is a difficult piece. I can't even play it on a kazoo. Go ahead, Larry.